Hello, welcome to Sourdough with Sarah, where an amateur sourdough person teaches you how to make completely average sourdough. So, all you need is your starter, some water, and flour. You can use all-purpose flour or bread flour. I recommend bread flour. Brittany Bach taught me that. It gets a better crumb. But I feed my starter with all-purpose flour. So that's the flours that I have out. You also benefit from, but not need, some rice flour for when you are putting the loaves into the bannetons to rise. So you don't have to have it, but it's very helpful because all-purpose flour, something about gluten makes it stick in my experience. You can get rice flour in bulk from Winco. So you can get a little bit or a lot. They have it in like their bulk food section. Okay, so first you want to get your kitchen scale out and you want to make sure that the unit is set to grams and get it set where it's at 0. And I'm going to be making 2 loaves, so the measurements that I use you'll want to cut in half if you only want 1 loaf, but it does freeze well, or you can give it to a friend. Okay, so you'll mix 200 grams of your starter and dump it in here. I'll show you what the starter should look like too, because you should have fed it and had it bubbly before you use it, and then you'll feed it again after you use it. So I'll dump this, there we go, 200. Okay. See some of the bubbles? You can show in the bowl too. So it should be probably honestly a little more bubbly than that, but that's, that's active. An active starter is just a starter that's been fed recently and is bubbling. So I keep my starter in the fridge right now because I'm not baking with it every day. If you bake with it every day, or even if you don't bake with it every day, if you leave it on the counter, you need to feed it every day. So if you leave it on the counter, you can feed it every day. If you keep it in the fridge, you only have to feed it once a week. Before you want to use it, you want to make sure that it's active and bubbly. So that means that you would have fed it about 3 hours before you use it. You don't have to discard it first. Discard just means dumping some of it out. You can dump some of it out into like pancake mix, or you can just dump some of it out into the sink. But that's what discarding is. It's just getting rid of some of it. And then feeding it, you just want to do equal parts flour, water. So I always do 50 grams flour, 50 grams water. Unless my starter's running really low, and then I can do 100 grams flour, 100 grams of water. Either way, it's fine. Right now it's colder in my house, so it's taking longer to bubble. But when it's warmer, like 70 degrees or more in your home, it should be bubbly in about 2 to 3 hours and ready to use. So I just get mine out in the morning, let it sit on the counter for a little bit, dump in my flour and my water, and then wait for it to bubble. Okay, so once you've got your 200 grams of starter in your bowl, you're gonna add 700 grams of water. It can be room temperature. If it's room temperature or a little bit warmer, it will like rise a little bit faster. I'm not worried about it, how long it takes, so I'm just dumping in cold water. So I'm gonna do 700 grams for now. I'll add another 50 grams later. Right now I'm just gonna do 700. I'm gonna slow down. Okay, so I'm at 700. I'm gonna use my dough whisk and just stir together my starter and my water a little bit. Okay, that's fine, that's good. You don't need a dough whisk, it's kind of extra, but I like it. Now I'm gonna get it back at 0. And I'm gonna be adding 1,000 grams of bread flour. Now, the original recipe that I had used 700 grams of all-purpose flour and 300 grams of whole wheat flour. The wheat flour is going to give it a different taste. It will be more of a rusticy loaf. At this point in my life, I'm preferring the more white bread flavor of sourdough. And it's gotten a better rise for me. Like the crumb has more holes in it and stuff. So I'm just going to use all bread flour. So 1,000 grams of whatever flour you're using, but I'm doing bread. if you don't already buy bulk bags of flour, if you get really into sourdough, you're going to probably want it because it uses a lot of flour. And you start baking all the time, and you're going to be going to the store all the time if you're just using small bags of flour. So I highly recommend bulk. I get mine at Costco. Okay, I went a little bit over. I'm going to see if I can just skim some off the top. There we go, 1,000. Okay, now for now I'm done with my scale, so I'm going to move it aside. And I'm just going to use my dough whisk to incorporate the flour and the water in the starter until it is shaggy, is kind of the word that I've read. Okay, so we paused it and then started it back up, so you didn't watch how long it takes to mix. It's kind of hard, but it's not too bad. This is what I mean by shaggy. It's just, yeah, all mixed together. Now I'm gonna let this rest for 20 minutes and I'm gonna just cover it with a damp cloth. And then I'll come back after 20 minutes and I'm gonna be adding salt. I add a little more salt than what normal recipes call for, so I would do like 24 to 26 grams of salt. And then I'll be adding another 50 grams of water. So, see you soon.